Conversate for a few.
Welcome to the next episode of Conversate for a Few. I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely is not. This is a podcast about hip hop. What we doing today, bro?
And we discussing the history of melodic hip hop.
Okay. Man.
So where do you start with that one?
So I guess we're going to define what we see as melodic hip hop, right?
All right. Okay.
Like
So
in today's terms.
in today's terms, light harmonizing.
Okay. So I might say, light harmonizing, but I might say that your lyric structure is melody driven versus being rhythmic. As far as, you see what I'm saying? It's as much melody as it is rhythm, when traditional hip hop is far more rhythm than it is melody.
Right. And I would add far more rhythm and rhyming, because with melodic, it's way more melody driven, is harmonizing, and sometimes it doesn't even necessarily rhyme from bar to bar.
Well, I would say there's.
I'm saying that there's some, like, there's a lot of it, enough of it that doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think that it has to. That's not a thing that has to.
Well, I will tell you this. There's a whole bunch of traditional MCs that don't rhyme bar for bar. A lot. I mean that we revere, that don't really rhyme bar for bar. Like Sadat X didn't rhyme bar for bar.
Yeah, that's
you see
true.
What I'm saying? Like, it's a style thing. Keith Murray didn't rhyme bar for bar.
Oh, okay. Well,
you see what I'm saying?
I feel like he did. I feel you on Sadat X, but
Keith Murray definitely didn't rhyme bar for bar.
Like,
he left shit wide open sometimes. Keith Murray be like, yo, he just didn't even tie that one up. He just said a wild ass word and let it ride. You know what I mean? Like, people did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a thing. I'll say that. Like, I could keep naming them, but so I won't say it's not one. I would just say I can see where somebody would be like, I don't know if that is a tenet of it. You know what I'm saying? I think it might be a attribute that people like. It's something that people do, but it's something like Blueface ain't melodic, and he doesn't necessarily care about the rhyme. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. Anyway, I think most people know. But right today, it's most synonymous with trap.
Absolutely, most synonymous with trap.
Most synonymous with trap, and I say most because it's not only trap. And there's a new thing called trap soul that people are trying to say now, and it's pretty much, in my opinion, the same thing that was happening when emo rap was popping.
Yeah.
But because the music is a little more, is a little harder, they want to assimilate it to trap, but it's the same thing. I think it's still melodic. I don't think there's a big enough variance for us to really discuss that one in whole. But I just wanted to bring it up, because I know it's out there. And if we're gonna do the history of melodic, we might as well do looking forward what may happen too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
So.
Yeah, and I agree with that, with the trap soul take.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big enough variance to like make it a total different subgenre, or discuss it as if it's something so dramatically different than what's already being done with the trap.
Yeah, not in my opinion. Not yet. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I'll say that just to, not yet. Maybe it will progress into something totally different, but I don't at this point I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't expect it to, and I ain't seen it, but I won't say that it won't. But anyway, yeah. So melodic. I got a question. What would you say the average response, not necessarily your response, but the average response to people saying like the beginning of melodic hip hop?
I think the answer is going to fall in around the Future, and I think like the Futures will be mentioned.
Okay.
Future. Um, and it's bad to even say Young Thug because we already know who fathered what styles, but
Mm-hmm.
um, like down to Travis Scott, Drake will be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think those are some of the just typical answers that you'll get if asked.
Okay. See, that's I'm glad I asked that question because it's different than my answer. Because I was thinking
Okay.
people would probably start with Ja Rule and 50 Cent,
Ah, okay.
like a half era before Drake and Future. Not even,
Okay,
you know
I
what I'm
see
saying?
that. I can see that, but like I felt like I'm answering like someone like say Newski. I feel like if we would ask him that, he would have said the names that I mentioned. Now
What?
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if someone was maybe a little bit older than him, right, or a generation older than him, they may say, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ja, Ja or 50. I can
Yeah,
see that.
yeah, and I agree with your answer. You know what I'm saying? That's why I asked it the way I did. It's not necessarily what your answer would be.
Right,
And I
right.
tried to think about it, you know what I'm saying, from a wider perspective. But I think having you answer it gave the actual proper perspective of what the average answer is going to be. Not the
Right.
average answer in our age group, but the
Mhm.
average answer across the whole scale of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we can
Mhm.
if we gonna gauge it that way, then I think your answer is probably what the average answer would be. Now, yes, uh, I think the thing becoming a genre, a subgenre on itself, I think it probably did start with Ja Rule and 50. I think it started with Ja Rule for the most part, and then 50 kind of took it, and then you got Kanye and Cudi along with Drake, and
Mhm.
and Drake is the one that took it to the next level. That's obvious.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
obvious because you can't
yeah.
even because what Drake does melodic hip hop, but
Mhm.
Drake also sings on records.
Right, and distinction there has to be made.
Exactly. Now, and I make that distinction. I'm glad we making it because I threw something in the Facebook uh, group. You know what I'm saying
Mhm.
in the Drew. So you didn't see it, but
I ain't still I'm like banned from Facebook. I don't know. I got to
hey,
get that
it's all
resolved.
good.
But go ahead.
But the group is growing, yo. The group is growing,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they starting to engage. But it's I threw a question in there. I said, what do Slick Rick, Biz Markie, Most Def, ODB? It was a few others on that
Hmm.
list. Like, what do all these MCs have in common?
And you asking that I know what it is because I can hear everyone that you mentioned as you mentioned the name. I know the songs.
Exactly. But most people wouldn't know what it is. But every single Buckshot, every single one of those artists sang or melodic artists. If you ask people
Yeah.
what like just sing a Biz Markie song right now, straight up, 50% of people gonna start with you you got what
Hmm.
I need. He sung that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He
Right.
didn't sing the
Hey.
verses, but he definitely
Yeah.
sung it. Slick Rick,
Right.
uh,
Hey. World.
the
Young
world
world.
is yours. I
Young.
mean,
Young.
yeah, he sung
Yo.
that. I mean,
I mean, he that I think that might be. I ain't gonna. I I won't speak too far ahead, but that might be the first full melodic. Like, cause people was doing it, and it was kind of mostly on hooks. His whole verses was like that.
yeah, his whole
You
verse
think
was
it's
that way.
cool to be a dummy and be and disrespect your mommy? Like his whole flow, it was
Mm-hmm.
melodic, harmonized all of the verses and the hook.
I mean, most of his songs, Dave the Dope Fiend Suit and Don't. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah,
singing,
yeah.
he's singing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a whole lot of Slick Rick songs he's singing.
Yeah, and I think Buckshot, I'm glad you mentioned him. I think a lot of people really overlook how much he
Oh
was
yeah,
like like how much he was really kind of doing melodic hip hop.
Once he
Especially
got
on the remix to I Got You, a remix to I Got You Open. Oh my God.
once he got into his bag,
Yeah.
most of that shit was melodic. Once he
Yeah.
found his bag and he like really hit his stride and everything he touched was off and running, he was singing that shit. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was singing it. He was singing it. He was just doing it so monotone that you might not really recognize it that way. And it was so hard and gritty, but he was singing.
Yeah.
And we all know ODB will sing in the, like he sing from beginning to end. He might start his verse singing. He might sing in the middle. He might sing at the end. He might sing a hook for Mariah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but so he was definitely a melodic MC.
Yes.
And,
For sure.
and Most Def,
Wow.
Umi says.
Yeah, when he said Shania. But everything he did, like recently, I sent my daughter Respiration. The song of Black Star first album featuring Common, right? It's funny, she loved that song.
Okay.
But like on that song, you know, he's kind of singing the hook. The new moon roll high in the metropolis, shining like who on top of this? Like the whole joint, the whole hook is like super melodic, and his verse is super melodic.
I mean, one of the dopest verses in hip hop history is melodic. Far Side Passing Me By, Fat Lip.
Yeah, man.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
that's one of the dopest verses in hip hop history.
That's a fact.
And he sang the majority of that verse.
Yeah.
So I mean, it ain't like it's new at
all. Yeah, definitely it's a new.
It's more of and I think if back to our ageism conversation, and the part of the conversation that we didn't have on there is how older hip hop listeners could like immediately reject the younger creators,
right?
Just off the fact that they're young and they not speaking to them directly. You see what I'm saying? And some of them reject it because them niggas singing, they ain't rapping, they yada yada. You know what I mean? But they reject, they forget the fact that a lot of your favorite artists came through singing their ass off, and we didn't bat an eye.
Yeah,
we didn't bat an eye.
Yeah, and I've told you before, like my first, far as I can remember, right, historically and go back, is I remember Houdini, their single, One Love, One Love, One Love. All you ever get is just one love. That joint.
Yeah.
That was like the first time I remember hearing, you know what I mean, really a melodic feel in hip hop.
That's dope too. And shout out Houdini. Yeah, Ecstasy, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But one of the first tapes I bought. And I think the first one I bought was Beastie Boys' License to Ill. And that batch was Houdini's album with One Love on it, and Salt and Pepper. Probably their first album. Had to be the first album. I'm pretty sure I own Fat Boys around in there too. You know what I mean? So, but those was the first, and then the first vinyl I owned was Run DMC Rockbox.
Okay.
But yeah, but just to say, I owned some melodic hip hop early. UTFO was mad melodic. You know, I brought on Orange Juice Jones.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, he was more. It was melodic because the hook was singing, but he was more pimping than rapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't even hardly, you know. I mean, I could keep listening, man. Domino from the West Coast.
That's one that was Domino was one of those people I feel like forgot about. But immediately when you mention his name, you immediately start hearing all of his songs. And that, he was killing it.
He was killing
it. Now Now that is some real. That almost fits perfectly. What Domino was doing almost fits squarely with what melodic hip hop is today. You can
Mm-hmm.
damn near say, like, he is one of the pioneers. Even though we mentioned a bunch of people doing it, but the way he did it,
Mm-hmm.
like through and through,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all his songs is crazy.
Domino, Ahmad. You remember Ahmad?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I swear I got vinyl.
Yeah. So Domino, Ahmad. But I'm the precursors to all of this though is easily,
Hmm.
melodically, flow, um, not style, but but persona wise, close to would be Bone Thugs.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's street
Yeah.
music, persona wise,
Hmm.
uh, melodically is what they was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They was singing
Hmm.
harmonies, full harmonies. You know what I mean? And cadence was early. You know what I mean? Like it was the cadence was so off kilter that a lot of East Coast people didn't even give it credit, wouldn't even rock with it. You
Right.
know, me
Right.
included. You see what I'm saying? I had to see somebody I was a fan of spit it a cappella for me
Big.
to be like, yo, they wildin'.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
but Bone Thugs is definitely the forefathers of what we looking at. If I had to
I
throw a
agree.
mixture together, I'd say Bone Thug, um, is wild. Bone Thug, Cuddy, and whew,
Hmm.
like in it's either Future or Migos.
Okay. I was gonna say Future, Bone Thugs, Future, and Cuddy.
Cuddy, I can see
Mhm.
that. I can
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. But I can see the Migos being there too, though.
Yeah, and the only reason I could take the Migos out and put Future in there is because Bone Thugs had cadence, so you don't need Future for the you don't need Migos for the cadence part.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think Future mate is the better fit because he took what Bone Thugs was doing and kind of stretched it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he probably wouldn't say that's what he was doing, like you know what I mean? Like it's funny because I think part of this conversation is like lineage, like 6 degrees of separation. Who begot who? Begot who?
Right. Right.
You know, I know it's a little bit fantasy because a lot of these dudes will probably say, "I came up with my own style. I fathered my own style." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? With when
Right.
you know who we can't leave out though,
Who's that?
T Pain.
Oh man, leaving out T Pain. T Pain is the domino of the of this era.
Ooh,
So we can't leave him out.
ooh. Okay, I thought you was gonna say he's the domino that failed that made everything else go from one transition to the next.
That's funny. So okay. Well, in both instances, the statement is true.
I would
In
concur.
both instances, do you remember he was so hot? Everybody was like wanting to try to pattern themselves after what he was doing.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
wanted T-Pain feature, right? Or then you tried to do T-Pain yourself.
there's only one person that can rival Lil Wayne when it comes to features, and that's T Pain.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody wanted T Pain, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody got T Pain. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So there was an era where you turn on the radio, you might hear him 5 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yeah.
counting the songs that he featured on and his own hits that was ringing off at the
Sure.
same time, like you might hear him 5 times in a row in a 40 in an hour set. So yeah, I think T Pain, and he's rapper turned singer. People
Yes.
discredit how good of an MC he is. You see what I'm saying? Because he
Mm-hmm.
got popular with auto tune. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that his popularizing auto tune the way he did gave birth to everything we hear in the melodic era.
Yeah, yeah,
So T Pain is stirred in there. T Pain and Drake are stirred in there.
yeah.
You see what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Because I think Drake gave a lot of these dudes the confidence that singing on the record was valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Because he got so popular and you know what I mean? He was so successful doing it that other people was like, you know what? It's actually not that big a deal. I could do this. I could sing just as good as I could rap. You know what I mean? So they did it. It's funny because I don't know if I would say he can sing just as good as, but Small World can sing very, 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 very well.
Yeah.
He can sing well enough to be an R&B artist.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You see what I mean? But he wasn't singing he wasn't singing as much. He was singing in a traditional hip hop sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in a traditional hip hop sense.
Yeah.
The way a lot of the artists we mentioned before would sing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know, man. So, damn. I don't know who to like. I think we just named the Godfathers of it, though, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, the people we name would be the Godfathers of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just
sound is prevalent now.
Yeah. So name that list again. So who we looking at? Future for sure.
Future.
Future, Drake, Cudi.
Mm-hmm.
Are we throwing Ja Rule and 50 in there?
You can. Yeah. Yeah. I think they deserve to be in there. And I want to clear this up, which I've talked about before, but I just always feel the need to.
Yeah.
Because when they battled, you know, I mean, we got into their little stuff, Jai and yeah. So whenever it comes, when Jai and 50 was having their back and forth, I'm saying that if someone listened to the podcast, they hear us mention both of them, someone will say, no, 50 don't belong to be in there because he stole Josh style, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what Jadakiss said on one of his diss songs, right? But the reality of it is I always say, before I ever heard Ja Rule singing, in fact, the first time I heard Ja Rule, he was never singing. And I had heard 50 sing way before I ever heard Ja sing. And I mean, really singing, really like melodic rap of today. And he was doing that. That's 98 with Ghetto Quran.
Yeah, he was definitely singing.
Me for I've sinned over and over again just to stay on top. He was killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when it popped, I just think this is what I think. He sung on a few other records too. But then there was a period where he wasn't doing any singing, right? And then Ja was popping and he's singing and it started to pick up traction. So I felt like 50 was like, yo, I've been doing this shit. I know I'm getting yeah. I'm gonna go back to singing. That's what I really think.
That, and I think 50 just didn't like the way Ja was doing it.
Yeah, and it's funny for me, and I'm not a huge Ja fan. I never have been a Ja Rule fan personally. Although I know that he made absolute undeniable hits, right?
Right.
But just wasn't for me. I was never moved by his music. I like all of 50 records better that he sings on than I do Ja. And I'm saying that to say I agree with you in terms of 50 probably felt like he wasn't doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, I think 50 was like, yo, he's doing it in a soft way. You know what I mean?
Because because to me he was doing it in like kind of a rugged way. Well, maybe that's just because of his voice, but it felt like he was doing it in a kind of more of a hard way.
He was doing it with a hardcore persona.
That's what it was,
But
and then the voice on top of that.
Exactly, the voice, the image, the bandana, you know what I'm saying, the aggressiveness in how you moving and how your crew move is one thing, but the content was directly after the first album, not the first album, but after that first album, it was pretty much girl music. He was like he was the girl side of LL. Cause people throw girl rap on LL and like he didn't eat people face off with
Right.
verses. Like he didn't drop Mama Said Knock You Out and all these other joints that was ill. Like yeah. So, but yeah, the history. Yeah, 50 definitely sang prior to us even knowing who Ja Rule was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with you on that. So the fact that he stole it. So 50 and Ja Rule, I could see why people would say 50 and Ja Rule don't belong on the Godfathers set.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know. I put it to you this way. I think the only reasons they belong there is because of the success that they garnered doing it. Not because of the impact they had on the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I think impact wise, Future, Cudi, and Drake had more impact on this, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Stylistically, I think Bone Thugs belongs on the list before Ja Rule and 50 do.
No, I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just because if you pluck Bone Thugs out of that era and dress them like the artists of this era, they would fit seamlessly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might blow a lot of these niggas. They might go crazy in this era. They might be the Beatles.
That's what I'm saying. They'd be the hottest thing moving.
Yep.
They would be the hottest thing moving right now.
Right now, they might be the Beatles if you drop them out of, if you pluck them out of that era they were in and drop them in this era right now, they would be like, people would be like, wait. No auto tune. This is just what they do. Man, they be out of here, bro.
Yeah, that was wild, man.
Out of here. So they belong on the list. I think. Oh man. Whew.
Yeah.
So you got any questions? Do you mean I feel like I've been hogging the mic.
Nah, that's good. This is different things we converse about. You know what I mean? One of us may feel more have more of a dominant opinion about this. We talk more. But I will want to say this in bringing on the reason why this is for me, from my perspective, the reason why this is even a significant topic is because, like many other things in hip hop, there was a time in hip hop, and I think it's definitely post 80s, early 90s, early to mid 90s. Singing in hip hop was considered soft. Like hip hop wasn't doing a lot of singing, particularly for the artist himself, the rapper.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned my first hearing any type of singing or harmonizing was Houdini, but that's when I'm small, coming up in the 80s, right? So I may be 7 or 8, but by the time 92, 93 roll around, nobody is singing.
Right.
And it's not really cool to be singing because at this time you get into more of a street tough image is starting to dominate in the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so singing generally in R&B, well, I don't want to say generally, but is like viewed more as a softer approach to music.
Right.
And so artists wasn't doing it a lot. I'm not saying nobody because there was instances, but I'm just highlighting this as a stigma, like with ghostwriting. You know what I mean? I remember outside of like what you already mentioned, Far Side, you know what I mean, Buckshot, but actually actual singing. And this is funny. I can speak from like personal experience. I didn't want to hear no artist I like singing. And that shit wasn't cool. You know what I mean? And I wasn't a heavy R&B fan at the time either. So when it became okay to me, right? This is like biased stuff, right? Is when Nas sung the hook. And all of these little things leads up until, what we get today. Everybody, ironically enough, the artists of old, even if they was just a little pebble, but everybody helped to build what is now melodic hip hop to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying some of the people that don't like it actually did things that helped lean it in that direction.
Certainly.
So like Nas on AZ album, first album, 9 to 5, on Give Me Yours, he sung Give give me what you can't get back. Why don't you give me the world? On Give Me Yours, I was like, yo, I was like, it's kind of fire. Such a hypocrite, such a contradiction, right? You know what I mean? And then Nas sung again on Music Make These
That's
Thugs
the one
Come
that was in
Down.
my head.
Yeah, with him, Tragic Gaddafi, and Nori.
Yeah.
And then it became to me. I started noticing because at one time now, Nas was really the God MC, and he was golden at certain
Facts.
points of time, and like so it was like, oh, he do it's okay, like that's what really because a year after that, a year or two after Music Made These Thugs Calm Down, him singing that hook, a year or two after that, you get Ghetto Quran and 50 is singing. Two Queens artists, right? And then you're going to get Ja Rule, another Queens artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, it was a time where it was cool in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it became uncool as it became more street and gangster, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then it became time where it was like, okay, it's cool if certain people who are considered cool does it.
Right.
Then I'll do it. You know what I mean? And then it was just then I think like from there, I think like artistically people just doing whatever they want. Because when you talk about Bone Thugs, which are some of the forefathers of this, they not influenced. Well, I can't say that for sure, but all I'm saying is they're in a different region of the world than these other artists.
I'll
and
put
they
it to you
come up
this
with
way.
something totally new.
What it sounds like you were saying is they not influenced by the stuff we heard before. And I'm going to honestly say I can't hear what they were influenced by. It's so new and it was so out of this world. I can't tell you that, oh, they got that from this. They got that from this. I can't tell you that because that shit was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like it was some other shit. That they just sat in the basement and realized, you know, all of us can sing, bro. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, how do they even, you know what I mean?
Yo, but just think about no, man, F that. They the fucking Godfathers. No, listen to something, A. Their names are Bone Thugs in harmony.
Yeah.
They're rapping, but they're harmonizing and even singing at some points. Yeah. What I'm saying is we got to give them Godfather status. They saw the future, and I'm saying they saw it, whether they actually saw it or not. Because we're going to merge rap and harmony.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a new kind of style.
Yeah.
That's native to us, but now it's like just a whole genre.
Yeah. They definitely the Godfathers.
Doing what they did.
Definitely the Godfathers. They the Godfathers of it, and the other people are, like we said, the dominoes that had to fall to make it the mainstay that it is. Like you needed the success of a Ja Rule and a 50 Cent to catapult the success of a Drake.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like it made it that much more palatable. So when Drake got here, it made sense. And it made sense because we had heard it for Cudi to be here. You see what I'm saying? Andre 3000 is another one that I don't want to leave off the list. People might not count him that much, but that Love Below album impacted the whole. It told people that he didn't rap but one time on the whole album.
Yeah.
You don't have Igor without that, which is a whole nother level of melodic hip hop. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a whole nother zone of melodic hip hop, right? But you know, so I think you had to have Future and T-Pain, and you see what I'm saying? Like you had to have those guys and Drake to come through. And for that matter, Ja Rule and 50 Cent to popularize the fact that you can sing on records, and then Drake to make it you could become a superstar singing on records. And like if you don't sing on records, you probably a little strange. If you see what I'm saying, like if you planning on going to get a deal during the Drake era and you don't sing at all, then you turn one of your hands behind your back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Cudi made it okay to be yourself. Future made it okay to be Southern and be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just let it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, but those are the names that I think belong on that list personally.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know. Wow.
That Bone Thugs, man. That's
Yeah, that
something
Bone
different.
Thugs is something different, bro. I don't think they get the respect that they supposed to get.
They don't, and it's crazy because people bring them up as dope group, but I don't think they get the respect that they deserve. So I feel like they get a little bit of respect for being like one of the best groups or a dope hip hop group, right? As far as their originality, but I don't think they get the position they deserve as forefathers of forefathers of a whole melodic era of hip hop. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's what we're doing now by putting them there and discussing it and highlighting their catalog and what they did that eventuated into what we have today.
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons that they don't get the position, one is the era that they came through, and two is without those dominoes mixing it up in a way. You see what I'm saying? T-Pain added the auto-tune. You see what I'm saying? Drake popularized singing on a whole. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't, you know what I mean? And then, like Future stretched out, he brought it to the South and brought it to the hood in a way that, to the streets in a way that T-Pain was R&B in it, even though they were doing a very similar thing.
Yeah.
So they needed those tendons between Bone and current melodic hip hop for current melodic hip hop to be able to move. You see what I'm saying?
No pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the truth though. Like
Yeah.
they needed that. Yeah, no
Yeah.
pun intended with the bone and the
Yeah.
tendons and then I think yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I totally agree, and it's sad. As I'm thinking about it, it's kind of sad of how easy things can get lost in the history of hip hop if we don't document it or discuss it or bring it back up.
Right.
Like, because I don't know if we didn't have this show today and discuss this, me and you, like my original thoughts about Melodic and the history of it, like just kind of a knee-jerk response, I wouldn't even have mentioned Bone, which is ridiculous.
I hadn't written Bone name down prior.
I know about Bone. I had the albums, but like it wouldn't be just something that's like really prevalent in my mind to just pull out and say.
You're right. The conversation brought Bone to light for me too, because I wrote down a gang of names. I put a list on Facebook. You know what I mean? I put a list online. You know what I mean? It didn't have Bone name in it, and Bone is the obvious name.
And when you say it's super,
but it took this conversation. You see what I'm saying? For me to get to it, and I think that's why people should be having these types of conversations. I mean, that's why they're important for hip hop.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In saying all that we've just said, right? How do you think Bone feels about current melodic hip hop? Do you think they hear it? Yeah, go ahead.
I think they like it. I think they love it. But I think I also think they know they would sound like haters if they come out and say these niggas exist because we exist. So they don't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think they know. I think they know what we feel. So they gotta feel a sense of pride from it. If they don't feel a sense of pride from it, that means the industry zapped them of everything that would allow them to be prideful, and that is all resentment. And I hope that ain't what is going on for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they gotta recognize it though.
Yeah, because if I was Bone, in this era, listening to music, I'll be like, these are my children.
All
That's
of
how I
them.
feel.
All of them. I'd have felt like 50 and Ja with my kids
Yeah, word.
if I was
It,
born.
yeah, anything came after them.
Yeah, I'd have.
Domino. I don't know who came first. I
Domino
think.
definitely came first.
Okay, all right.
Domino definitely. Yeah,
'Cause
I was in high school when Domino came out, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he definitely came first. If I'm not mistaken, I was in high school. If not, right after it.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, Domino was out first. Domino and the mod and all that. I had to be in school. You looking it
Okay.
up?
Yeah, I gotta look up Domino
Yeah,
because
because I want to know.
I know the Bone Thugs. I remember getting Bone Thugs' first album when I was still in middle school. So,
Bone Thug first album was popping when I was at A&T Homecoming for the first time.
all right.
That was 1994.
And I was in eighth grade.
Yeah, it was 19. I just had this conversation with my boy with
Yeah,
Black the other day.
the group. Yeah, so they were signed. They were signed late '93. So the album probably did
Yeah,
release in '94.
yeah.
Um, and Domino. All right. Oh, there you go. He did pop up. It's just early 1990s.
Exactly.
Okay. He had
Exactly.
Long Beach Thing 93, Jam 93.
Right. I was in high school.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I could date the music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could date
Yeah.
the music most times.
Based off of school. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
based on where I was in life. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I definitely knew I was in high school when Domino came out, and I
Yeah.
know because I can remember him alongside a mod, and a mod was hieroglyphics. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And hieroglyphics was our life in high school. Like senior year, it was all hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? Like we was on hieroglyphics and not Outcast.
Yeah, no, that's funny, but that's how I was.
Yeah, I thought Outcast was biting.
Right. So I didn't think that I liked Outkast too, and they had their album too, but I just gravitated way more to hieroglyphics. You gotta
Yeah.
understand, I had Dale the Funky Homo Sapien first joint. Like
Me too.
I'm hard. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I was just pro. I was just pro
Nigga,
hieroglyphics.
I had Casual. I had Saphir.
Casual.
You remember Saphir? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Saphir. I had Casual. I had you know what I mean? Everything, dog. If it came out from over there, I was on it, bro. Like everything, if it had that circle of them 3 dots,
Yeah, is that a
it was
sort of
it was coming to the house, baby. Ain't nothing to talk about, man. It was nothing to talk about, yo. So honestly, it wasn't a regional thing because I didn't care where they were from. It just looking at them niggas dressed like I dressed. They was polo down. Their hair was all braided up and long. Our hair was like that at the time. You see what I'm saying? It was just they was rapping like hell. And when Outkast, I know this is a crazy sidebar, but when Outkast came, it was a stylistic shock, I guess I would say. You see what I'm saying? But flow wise, I recognized that I had heard it before.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it was from Souls of Mischief.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they bit them now. But at the time, it came out so close together that in my head, I was like, yo, they had to hear this, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? But I was definitely, early on, a bigger Souls of Mischief fan than I was Outkast. And that's almost insane to say. But it's not. If you was alive during that era, then you understand.
You get it. You totally get it.
Then you get it. Yeah. You might not agree, but you get it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Melodic, man. So tell me your opinion on melodic music or melodic hip hop today, because I don't think we really discussed how we feel about it.
So I love it. I Let me say this. I love it. I love it more when it's done well and it's done artistically. Meaning, I like the way Cuddy does it. I like as to me, Astro World is a perfect
Mm-hmm.
is an example of a perfect melodic hip hop artistic masterpiece to me. Um,
I would agree.
and I feel like yeah, so I'm happy with it, but I feel like it's often abused.
It's
And
a
well, I don't
crutch.
say abused, yeah, but yeah, it can become a crutch and like, and it sometimes it's half. I don't like it when it's half as done.
I tell you
If
what,
you do it, make it dope. Basically,
I don't think the people that are half-ass doing it are half-ass doing it on purpose. I think they doing what they can do.
right?
I
This
think this, yeah, the stuff that's coming out as art is coming from artists. You see what I'm saying? Like it, like Lil Baby's album is melodic to me. That's melodic hip hop,
yeah,
but it's not Astro World. But
right.
in my mind, it's a masterpiece. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it don't
Yeah,
have to be that. It don't have to be
right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like it can come in a whole lot of different forms. I think that's the thing that I like about melodic hip hop at this time. You see what I'm saying? Because it can come like Cuddy. You see what I'm saying? Or it can sound like, which is closer to Astro World. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or it can sound like Lil Baby.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it not
Yeah,
sound anything like any of that other music. You know? Uh, so yeah, I like where it is. Um, I hope that it does broaden a little bit more, and I think it will. I think
yeah.
it will broaden a little bit more. I want it to broaden but maintain a black face.
Mm, that's gonna be hard.
Broaden and this is what I would love for it to broaden and maintain a respectable black face.
Oh, okay, I get that.
You understand what I'm saying? And I don't
Hmm.
want nobody getting blackface doing it.
Right,
Post
right,
Malone.
right.
Even though I like Post, but he was pretty like we shouldn't allow that, yo.
Yeah.
He just came and ran off with what he needed and he ain't coming back, bro.
Nah. Why?
Yeah,
No.
he ain't coming back. He got his Budweiser sponsorship. He's out of here. Out of
Hmm.
here. He'll get a feature from us, but he's not coming back. We won't even know when he drop albums like talking about it. That right there is one of the potential pitfalls of melodic hip hop though.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about lyricism and bars so much that it lowers the bar. You know what I mean? Of uh quality, honestly. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like it lowers the bar of what you gotta be nice at.
Right. It lowers the bar of necessary talent needed to execute that particular style.
Right. It lowers the bar of being nice, which is a
Mhm.
prerequisite of being, which is a prerequisite of hip hop.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Which you lower the bar of being nice, which is a prerequisite of hip hop. It lets things seep in that ain't necessarily nice for hip hop.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, so that's the thing. Which is why, to your point, the high art end of it needs to be touted and respected a lot more, and pushed and elevated a lot more, so that the dead weight can fall off and exist where it needs to exist. If you got fans that can help you survive, then albeit, you know what I'm saying, survive. But you shouldn't be the face of this thing with trash.
Right. Right. Yep. That's my point exactly.
You know, so that's how I see it, bro.
Word.
I don't know, man. What you think, man? You think we did enough on this one?
E- Um. Yeah, I think so. I think we, I think we placed the Godfathers in the right place. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think we covered it. I think we pretty much covered it all. I don't think we left anything out, to be honest with you.
I
Even
don't
though
think
it
we
seems
did.
like we haven't been going for that long, I don't think we left anything out.
I mean, I don't think we left that now. If anything, I think people can say we could have discussed like early melodic hip hop a lot more. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But this ain't a research show. This is like a conversation. We discussing like the early hip hop from our minds that impacted
Right.
us. I didn't go do no research and say, okay, who sang on the first record and who. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because if anything, you know, what I mean, you know, it's subjective. I think this is a conversation for people to join. So if you feel like we left things out, or there's some artists that were early on, which is the part that I feel like maybe you could nitpick if you wanted to, then suggest them. You see what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gotta stop having a conversation. Like, we can have this conversation next week if we choose to.
Now I will say this, because the Wu-Tang Clan members and other people will literally attack us in the streets if we don't mention, and this person just came to mind, Nate Dogg, R.I.P. How the fuck do we have this conversation and we don't talk about Nate Dogg?
We was fitting to commit total blasphemy.
Nate Dogg.
We was fitting to commit hip hop blasphemy, bro.
Word, yeah, we about to be done, man.
Yo, I don't think this is just what I think.
Yeah.
But the name of this group, if they want melodic hip hop, then I don't know who the hell was, but the Fugees.
What?
Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
I don't know about the impact, because I think what they was doing was so high level that I don't think people was out there trying what they was doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people was like, yo, ooh, we can go. They was one of one. You feel me? So, but as being on that list of melodic hip hop and needing to be mentioned, Fugees is definitely on there. But that Nate Dogg catch is key. Toast to that, bro. And this is water, by the way. So, but yeah, this is Nate Dogg, man. Nate Dogg ran an era of melodic hip hop on his own.
Nate Dogg may have been, well, not as big. So I'll tone it down a little bit.
Okay.
But he was like the T-Pain of his era.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He was
all the way up in the 2000s when Fabulous had him for the I Can't Deny It, I'm a Straight Rod.
Yeah, Nate Dogg, he definitely, I would say the only reason you would say he ain't the T-Pain of that era, I would say he was the T-Pain of features for that era. You see what I'm saying? Like solo success, success maybe not, but features,
that's what I was referring to,
You go get Nate Dogg, she out of here.
Yeah.
You better lay low. She's out of here, son. She's out of here.
That's a done.
Man, he was out of here. Man. Yeah, Nate Dogg, bro. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg, man. Yeah, but I wonder.
Now good. I said now we good.
Yeah, now we good.
Yeah.
Now we good. But yeah, man. As usual, I'm gonna ask y'all to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Conversate for a Few. If you see us on Facebook, if you're old head and you see us on Facebook and you see the group, the extended podcast convo, join that, man. That's where you're gonna get most of the content. If you on Facebook, if not, then follow Conversate for a Few on Instagram. Make sure you go subscribe to Conversate for a Few on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Anchor. Whichever one is your favorite listening platform, I need you to go hit us there. Leave a comment. Share the show. Share the show with your friends, because that's the only way they're going to know we here is if you let them know. Make sure you rate us. Give us 5 stars. Because we deserve them. Shit. I mean... Yeah, we do this for y'all. We deserve them 5 bars, right? Man. You know what I mean? Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, man, so you'll know when the show drop every week. Stay tuned for the limited edition Wu-Tang Clan merch and the book. We laughing because we wanted to be so quality that we hold it until we got what we want to give y'all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? God forbid that merch come before that book.
I know.
That's gonna be crazy. But matter of fact, we gotta make sure that don't happen. Not that we gonna hold the book up. We gotta pick up the merch.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Sure.
But yeah. But with that being said, yo, I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely was not. This is a podcast about hip hop. Make room for the tag.
Conversate for a few.
Hustle, Welcome, man, they had to send me. Hustle from Raleigh, live from NC with your hosts, John and Alan. Relate to the two. You are now listening to Conversate for a few. Check it on SoundCloud, debate with your crew. They talking hip hop from the late to the new. From July till June end. No Fridays for me. Tune in. Please listen to this podcast. 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 Please listen to this podcast.